Hello there everyone, this is me Kosta Bokhrel and welcome back to Kali. In this episode, we're going to learn about how to structure our C++ project or Qt project. Even though you are not a Qt developer or Qt learner, you're still welcome to watch this video because this is in general of doing the structure or managing your C++ project. We're going to use CMake and general logic to structure our project into smaller chunks. So I'm going to show you the UI of our project and I'm going to break down how to make a subdirectory, make a tree out of our project as a tree and then work with it. Because in a larger, when there is a project which has like 100 source files or 100 header files, then you gotta manage it in a way that it should not recompile every time you run your CMake, right? If you have everything inside your same CMake, then it has to recompile every time you change certain things in that CMake. So we're gonna make a different subdirectory, like a tree, and then manage it like component by component. All right. So this is not extremely hard. As a beginner, I also had to struggle with managing my source code and I didn't know what to do. Even though I had my project ready, everything is working, project runs fine, but when I saw those bigger projects with 100 files still managed in a so nice way, I had to learn those techniques. So I learned this technique from an open source project, but it's not like that this is the only way you can manage your project. There are plenty other ways too, but this is the one that I use the most. So in this episode, we are just structuring the project, nothing more. I'm gonna let you through the CMake scripts that I'm gonna use, even though it's not a crash course on CMake, but to manage your project for your C++, you still need to write a good script in your CMake. So it's CMake and logic for your structure. And whatever I write in CMake, I'll explain it to you, not anything outside of it. So before we actually dive into the course, even though this is a standalone, if you're not even following through this series, it's okay. You can still watch this part just for managing and structuring your code. But in this series, what we're going to do is we're going to create a media player software in C++. Here we have few things that we're going to cover. The actual media player, login authentication, REST APIs, getting tokens, everything for the login page. And we're gonna work on ThemeManager. We're gonna create our own theme engine, like you see in a big softwares. You can change between themes, 4 or 5 themes, right? So we're gonna make a theme engine and then apply those theme engine. This is not just about like making a media player. It's about learning how to work in a big software, right? So even though it might not have those many lines of code like in an actual large scale software, but it's going to teach you how to actually start with those techniques or how to start with that kind of scalability. So without any further ado, let's move into the actual tutorial. Thank you. Hi, so before we write any code, let's see how our project is going to look like, right? And then we're gonna break down our directories, we're gonna break down our source files, and for now, we are just forming a basic skeleton for our project structure. This is not the final project structure, right? While we start working on a project, we will keep on changing the structure. Not the actual structure, but we are going to keep on changing the files. We're gonna add the files, we're gonna remove the files, or even add some more directories. But this is the fundamental concept behind how we create the directories, how we manage the directories, how we manage the source files, how we manage the resources, while building your C++ project or even your Qt project, right? So what do we have? Like our first page is going to be a login page where we do the authentication for the user, right? We see this is a series. So this part is going to be just for the structure of our project, nothing more, no code writing, nothing. Basic scripting maybe, but not actual code writing. And second is our actual upload video page, where we should be able to upload the videos. And the third page is going to be the actual media player with a lot of features. So this tutorial is not just about, I've already said this, but not just about creating a media player, but also learning about user authentication through
REST APIs and tokenizing things inside that API. And then we are also trying to set the themes. Like we could be able to change themes for the entire system, without writing a lot of codes. And finally, the media player. So how would we structure this project so that it can be scalable, easy to navigate, faster in compiling time, and so on? Imagine we have thousands of lines of code and we have hundreds of files. And let's say we have 100 of CPP files. How would we manage those 100 CPP files? If you start your Qt project, what do you get to see? Let's see. Let me start a new Qt project. Okay, Qt quick application compat. The compat means it is compatible with the Qt 5 version. So I'm gonna name this media player for now. Let's see. This is our project. Okay. Media player. Continue. CMake. Continue. And not going to be our Android. So I'm choosing my desktop kit. If you're using Windows, then you should be able to find your Windows kit. If you don't know how to install Qt Creator, I already have a video on installing Qt Creator in my channel. Please watch that. And then you create a desktop app base version with a window, with a main.cpp file, main.qml file. That's it. See, right now, if you go to your the CMake file, you have these things on your CMake list, right? And whatever source file you add will be here. It will come here as sourc source and the name of the file. But if you have hundreds of files of source, of headers, and then this will entirely populate the CMake. It doesn't look good. And if you change the file, this entire CMake will run, which will take a lot of time to build again. Even if you change a few lines of code in a file, if it's not cached properly, the system automatically builds the entire project. There's no parallelism. It doesn't build parallelly. And that is the problem, right? So that's why we need to segregate, we need to separate it into different directories, module by module, and then hierarchy by hierarchy. And we are going to basically do that in this tutorial. Please don't feel bored. This is very important. See, this is very, very important. I learned this technique through one of the open source project. And even when I was a beginner, I didn't know how to actually structure our project. But right now I know about it. So I'm going to teach you how to actually structure and manage your project for later use. We might change few things, we might add or remove few directories, or add few more files, remove few more files, but the structure still remains the same. The ideology remains the same. Okay. So before doing anything, what I want to recommend is I will give you the link of this. I specially created this article for this episode so that you can easily go and read from here. So please, I recommend reading this. So this will help you. It will help you better understand the structure and how to structure your CMake. So we have these. We have login page, video upload, and the actual media player. And we have a very nice UI as well. As I said, we also gonna have a theme manager. We also gonna have a login authentication backend. So come to the docs and then let's see how I am going to structure this file. I'm gonna have a directory called src first. And inside src, what I want to have is I will have app controller directory, and I'm gonna have theme directory, I'm gonna have UI directory, I'm gonna have core directory. This core will have all the actual backend inside of this. This directory will have all the backends. Okay, and this will have all the UIs. and this will have theme engine, let's say the engine that manages the theme. And this app controller is the actual controller which will connect backend, which is the core UI theme, to our QML. This controls everything. This is the main on the top of the hierarchy inside SRC. So, and then outside SRC, we only gonna have test. Even though I'm not gonna show you the test version, but just have test directory here, and then later on in a bigger project, if you ever going to work, then you're gonna have your test here. Even inside a source is fine, but I keep it like this. So I have these directories inside my source, right? I'm gonna remove this for now. Watch very carefully, okay? This is very important. Now inside core, see inside app controller, what I'm gonna have is app controller .hpp and app controller .cpp, and also main.cpp. Inside theme, what I'm gonna have is ThemeManager.cpp, ThemeManager.hpp, just these for now. And for UI, what I'm gonna have is few directories inside of the UI. Let's say icons, or not really icons. First, I'm gonna have a page. This directory will have all the page.kml, all the pages.kmls, and then I'm gonna have components. So whatever components, UI components you create that are going to be used inside pages will be here inside the components here. And what else I'm gonna have is icons. All the icons resources will be here, and images and other resources. If you have, just try to have it in a different directories, and then later on we will use it inside pages. Our components will be used inside pages, and so on. Okay, there's going to be a bunch of pages. Let's say login page, login.kml, and we're gonna have a next page, let's say upload.kml page, and then we're gonna have the media player.kml page. And in components, for example, I'm just giving the example, right? So in the component, we can have a header.kml header component. We can have like the upload button.kml component, and these are all reusable. You don't want to keep on writing the header for each page. For every page you can have the same header, this QML, right? So this is the main reason behind like having different things inside different directories within the hierarchy, right? So why did I create these things? See, my every core logic will be inside this core. The core will have different, see, now this will have different directories. Login authentication directory. Now this login authentication will have login authentication .cpp, login authentication .hpp, and this core we also have what? We have login already done, let's say. Then we need have like upload video .cpp, upload video directory, and then inside here load video .cpp, load video .hpp, and again we're gonna have media player player.cpp, media player.spp. Now understand this, okay? I hope you have not skipped this video till now, but see how we have managed the core. Entire core logic for this application will be inside the core. and all the UI logic or the UI, anything, resources, everything will be inside UI. Our theme manager is staying somewhere individually because the theme is going to be applied for the entire system. So we have created a different directory for just the theme engine, and we have the actual app controller, which has two source files: app controller, which is responsible for communicating all these libraries or modules to our actual QML in the front end, right? And these will communicate through main.cpp into the QML. And how do we have these directory work on inside our Qt in Qt Creator? Now that is the actual part we're going to set up. So why did I want you guys to go and read this article? Because now we need to set up our CMake for this file structure. I hope you understood how we are setting up this, right? Source, inside source we have all the source files, and then source and test are the siblings. I mean, let's go and write our code before anything else. For now, see, this is the basic thing given by Qt, right? So it says CMake minimum required. It means that this CMake minimum requires this, or else there's going to be some bugs, maybe, or maybe not. But it says at least this. And then it says project. Our project name is this, version. The version of our project is 0.1, and that the language that we're using is C++. And that's all it means. It says like set the variable name, and then it's on. It means that it's given by the Qt itself. It says that automatically on the meta object compiler, which is responsible for handling single and all the meta object compiling the Q object and everything is automatically compiled with the help of this line. It says that set C access standard required. Okay, on. This means that it is saying that use certain standard of C++. That's it. It is missing one more thing that we're gonna include manually is CMake auto RCC, and we are saying on. And now this means that we are saying the resources, the QRC file in QML should be processed as well while this when this CMake runs. Okay, now let's structure our folder. Here, what do we have here? Main.cpp, main.qml. Both will entirely break down this entire CMake. We will restructure the entire thing. Okay, so I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't even need this for now. Let's keep these two for now. And now inside this CMake, what I want is go to your terminal, and now you're inside your directory, this media player, right? ls. If I see, we have these files. So I'm gonna make a directory here, source, and I'm gonna also make another directory. Let's say this. Now I have two directories here. No matter how many times you refresh it, you'll not be able to see it here. And to make it visible or to load it, what I'm going to do is add subdirectory src, and our another subdirectory that we're trying to add is test. Now notice one thing, okay? Even now we are getting error. Why? See, structuring the entire C++ project is about C++ and a general logic of how you want to set up your project. And now this is one of the structure that I know, and I oftenly use this. And we are getting this error because every subdirectory that CMake adds should have a CMake list of its own. What does that mean? This source directory should have its own CMake. This test subdirectory should have its own CMake, or else it will not be configured. So I will go to src, and then I have nothing here for now. If you can see, I have nothing. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just take you through here, documents, and then because I'm using the terminal here, but if you don't know how to use terminal for creating an files and directories, then here you go. I created test and source, right? Now inside this test I need a CMake list. For this I'll just copy this, and inside test I'll paste it. Even inside source I'll paste it. So even though what it has in the CMake, it will be configured, and later on we will just delete it, okay? But I gave you an example of what it should look. Now add subdirectory source, add subdirectory test. Now go to your source and then remove this. I'll delete it and keep an empty CMake list for test as well, because we copy pasted this, right? So I'll delete this too. And if you go back and refresh this or run your CMake again, go to general, what does it say? CMake. Okay, I need test here because the name of directory was test. Now see what is happening. Say target properties, cannot find target to add properties. For now just remove this too, comment this out. It doesn't matter, you can like bring it back later on if you need it. Just a bundle, right? It's including the bundle, that's it. And it's like giving the install path for the output, that's it. See, now I have these two directory popped up here, right? And it has its own CMake. The point of this is like your CMake here, this add subdirectory will had added this directory and this directory. Now when this is called, it will go through this CMake to add whatever directories inside the source. So what directory do we need inside the source? Let's go and see. Inside source, we talked about having app controller, we talked about having theme, we talked about having UI, we talked about having core, right? So let's go ahead and then create those directories. You can like go inside your source file and create directory through here from your GUI. Go here, new folder, inside source, app controller. I'll create another folder, theme. I'll create another folder. It's gonna what was another folder? We're gonna have theme, app controller. We're gonna have UI, and new folder. We're gonna have the core logic, right? Let's have these for now. So this will not be shown in. Again, it will not show up here. If I refresh this, if I run the CMake again, nothing changes here because we have not included this in the source here. So let's try to include this subdirectory. Add subdirectory, and we have app controller, and double A here as subdirectory, and theme, as subdirectory, core. We had core, right? Yeah. And we have UI too. Add subdirectory UI. How am I writing this code in CMake? See, the thing is, you actually need to know how to work with CMake if you want to structure your project. Now, adding subdirectory means like adding that directory, but that directory has to have their own CMake list file, right? That's why I'm getting an error. This is not going to be a CMake crash course. That's why I wanted you to go visit this article to better understand it. Or you can either go to any YouTube channel to learn CMake. And if you want a CMake tutorial from me, please comment down CMake tutorial in the comments. I'll definitely try to make a CMake tutorial playlist for you guys. And I'm also gonna add the perspective for CMake inside Qt as well, if you guys request me to create a tutorial for CMake. So right now I'm getting this error because why? Because we don't have its own individual CMake list inside of these directories. So I'm gonna quickly go and copy paste the empty CMake list, core gonna have its own CMake, this is gonna have its own CMake, theme is going to have its own CMake, all of them subdirectory is gonna have its own CMake. And because right now it has some, it's not empty, that's why I'm gonna remove this, and because I copy pasted, right, that's why it has this. I'll just remove this and save for UI2. Now everything will come in our project. Let's see. Let me rerun the CMake. All right, so what do we have here? See, we have source. Inside source we have app controller, core, theme, and UI. Now how is it better than having everything inside this one CMake? See, when we change any feature inside core, this CMake will only be changed, so the rest of the build created by this CMake list, the build created from app control, the build created from theme, will not change. That means that it will be faster, right? And if I want to have feature extension in core, then I'll just come to core and then add a feature. That's it. And if I want to change anything in the theme, I'll just come to theme and work on it. If I want to change in UI, I'll just come and work in the UI, right? So there is no any coupled dependencies that will actually affect the entire project. So you are doing module by module. You are segregating the entire project into smaller hierarchy based subfolders and working on each of those features, right? Now the thing is, now everything is here. Even inside our app controller, we have, let's say we might have subdirectories, then you want to have a subdirectory and then have the same procedure. Let's say we want to have subdirectory here as well. We want to have subdirectory in the theme. No, we don't have subdirectory in theme. We just have ThemeManager.spp and ThemeManager.cpp, right? So let's go and create this before anything else. See, this is a playlist, okay? This is going to be a media player playlist, so I want you guys to follow this tutorial. And this is especially about, this specific video is especially about structuring your project. This is a base structure. For every project, you're gonna structure it in the same way. So it's going to be scalable for thousands of C++ code, not just one file, two files, thousands of files. Even though it's a small project, I wanted to especially emphasize on structuring your project better, so that somebody comes and watch your project, they would be very happy about how clean you have written your code, you have structured your code. Even the recruiter or any let's say any tech recruiter comes to your GitHub and then sees how you have structured your the projects, they will immediately hire you. And there are not a bunch of tutorials for these structures. So I hope this actually helps you guys. And then what we're trying to have it here in the theme, we're gonna have the executable files, right? Right now we don't have anything, so even though I'll just add now, the thing is, I cannot write add executable. For this you need to know CMake. Why can I not write add executable here? Why? Name of the target will be theme and then ThemeManager.cpp, ThemeManager.spp. See, I'm not going to create these files. I'm not going to create these files from here, going to here, add new file, not like that. I'm just gonna create it from here, okay? If that's fine for you. I'll go inside. I'm already inside source, so theme. What? CD. Yeah, inside theme I'm gonna create ThemeManager.cpp. I just like keeping SPP rather than having .h, because HPP means it's a header file for CPP, but you can use either, it doesn't actually matter. So I edit these files. As soon as I edit these files, what happens? Let's see. Well, let's see, do we have these files inside of this theme? Yes, we have these two files inside of our theme directory, ThemeManager.cpp, ThemeManager.hpp. Let's run the CMake again. Yeah, it all appeared. And now see, inside of this theme, we have header file called ThemeManager.hpp, source file called ThemeManager.cpp. So similarly, even inside your core, you're gonna have header files, source files in same way, like this, like how you're seeing here. Now look at this. How well does it look? It looks so well, right? Rather than keeping everything inside this only source and having all these all the 100 files, C++ files here, all the resources file here in the same CMake, it doesn't look good, right? It's not good, it's not fast, it's not scalable. Every change in the CMake will affect the build, and it's too much messed up. We don't want that. We want to have a separate clean components, separate clean code and structure. Now the structure is super clean. In the base directory, we don't have anything. We just have source and test. Test will have all the tests that is required for these source files. Inside source, we have theme, UI, all the engines required. And every core logic will be inside of this core. So let's go inside our core. Is it core here? Inside core, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create two more files. Let's say login authentication.cpp, login authentication.cpp, and I forgot to touch. And touch HPP. Now I have these two files inside of our core. So for to include those files, what I'm going to do is, see, remember this, okay, this is one thing, add executable. I'm not going to add this. I'll just need to add library. Why? I'll tell you difference between add library and add executable. Add executable, what it actually does is it's gonna create .exe file or .app file, and it's the actual app file, right? It's a file that you actually run in the PC. But add library, what it's gonna do is it's gonna create library out of these files. ThemeManager ThemeManager is a library. It's not executable. It's not an application. It's not going to run it on its own. It's a library that we are going to use inside our app controller, which is responsible for the actual executable. One application that runs is the main executable, and rest of the source file that we are going to use is the libraries. So this is add libraries. I added the libraries. Libraries could be of three types, sorry. Static library, and we have shared library, and then we have another library as well, module. You can see module even in the root directory here for our QML. And this is actual module. So I'll tell you about this, all of this, even in coming tutorials. Right now we're just structuring the folders, right? And I also told you about this is not a CMake crash course. This is just a project structuring course. So this is a library called theme. I'll call it theme. Always keep your name clean. The library name is themelib, and this is going to be a static library. Perfect. Now what does this static means? Whenever I write static after the theme library, it means that these libraries will create .live or .s. That means a library that you can use as a file. But if you use a shared, what does it give you? If you use shared here, then it will automatically add these libraries in the runtime. Add this in the runtime, sorry. So if you use here, it will automatically use it in the runtime. Now what I want to do is I'll go to where was I? Did I add something in the core? Yeah, I login authentication, right? So add a library, as this is also not going to be .exe file, it's also a library, right? That library we are going to use in the app. And this library is going to be called core live, saying that it's the name is a target, okay, that we're trying to build. We are going to build a library called core live, and it will be of type static and what are the libraries, what are we creating these libraries from? Login authentication .hpp and login authentication.cpp and so on. This is it. So this is how now all the files are started to appear here, and like how we created login authentication.hpp, login authentication.cpp, we're gonna add all these things. And I'm also gonna copy this main.cpp into our app controller. For now, let's just do it. So I'll just copy this main.cpp into our source inside what? app.controller. Here, I'll paste it here. I remove the main.cpp, right? So I'll also remove this main.qml and I'll take this inside UI. Now I'll just remove these two files from here, from the root directory. Now my main.cpp is inside the core, inside the app controller, and my main.qml is inside main.qml. Right now I might get an error. Oh, I might not get an error. It will not even get detected or something like that. Yeah, it didn't get detected. But if I run my project, it will fail miserably. Well, it doesn't do anything. The issue is what? You need to set an executable in the custom run configuration. We don't even have exe file for now. So where is our main.cpp? We kept the main.cpp inside our app.controller, right? So here we will not add the library. This is going to be the actual executable. So add executable. What is our executable? main.cpp. Well, and our name is app. The target is going to be called app. Perfect. Now inside app, you're gonna see the source file called main.cpp. Well, inside main.cpp you see bunch of these errors. Why? Because it's trying to have this well, it is using Q's UI application. Now this is nowhere inside our CMake list. I'm also going to show how to fix this. Now here, if you see media player main.qml, we already changed the directory of this main.qml, and we're going to fix this as well. But before that, let's have these Qt thing be usable inside our CMake. Initially, in our original CMake, it has been added through target link libraries here. It says that at this target, which is app media player is what? It's a exe file. It says like link these two, the Qt Quick and app media player. Link these two things. It says that here, right? Oh, here, find package. It says like Qt. I don't even need it here. Well, I do need it here, but I'll just copy this thing and have it inside our find package qt6 component q quick required. If I run, oh, what I need is, to be honest, target link libraries. Look carefully, okay? What library I'm trying to link? I'm trying to link our test library. Even though it's executable, it could be linked as a library too. So app should be private, let's say private to qt6 core. Now you might be wondering, what did I even do here? All right, it's working just fine, okay. Now if I run, what error am I getting? Qt quick application file not found, GUI. So qt core private qt6, what were the, go back and see, these are very required. Sorry, where's the target link libraries? Qt quick is required, okay. Is it just quick? I forgot. Seems so. Well, now it's built. If I run this, it says like, well, I cannot find this thing main.qml, of course, because we changed the file, right? So what am I doing here? See, target link libraries, even though this is not a CMake crash course, I don't want you guys to be confused of what is happening here. So after creating the executable, I'm saying that connect this executable to be able to use these libraries. I'm saying target link libraries, link these two libraries, link these three libraries. Now this app, inside this app, whatever source file, should be able to use all the headers or anything from these two libraries, which is core or quick. You can even use the external libraries that you created from the other subdirectories here. So we have this. So let's go back to our UI here. So we don't have anything here, so we are not able to see our main.qml. So go back to your root CMake list.txt, and here this is how you had like the default CMake list had this qt add qt module, and this is this. So I'm gonna copy paste it here inside the UI. See, it only means it's just like a library, but instead of that, it's a qt add QML module. It's trying to add a module, and QML files main.qml. If I see here, we have a main.qml, and these files should be kept in our what? main.cpp. Now this media player .main.qml is changed to media player src / what? UI. Well, what happened here? Did something happen? What did it say? Debugging on the user surface, QML failed to load component, QML UI module. Okay, why do you think this is happening? Because this app media player, let's change this to UI. The name of this module is UI module. This module is UI module, and I need to use this module inside our CMake list, because we need to also be able to link these all of three now, because this main.qml is dependent on UI module as well, right? Whoa, fail to load no source file or directory inside source main.qml. If I go to main.cpp, if if I just have these things removed for now, main.qml media player, what would happen? Yep, works perfectly fine. Now, why did the window popped up? Because I had changed the path, but as soon as I added the module inside of our main.cpp, it was able to find the main.qml file. See, this is how you structure your code or structure your project. And it's going to be a long video if I keep on doing it. So in the next tutorial, we will keep on expanding our project, and we will work in the same direction. If we want a directory, inside a directory, we'll subdirectory it, make a tree like a structure with our project, and we're gonna learn CMake as well during the process. Even though we don't have a crash course for CMake, but whatever I use inside CMake, I've been guiding you through that, right? I'm explaining what the CMake is doing, that part of the script is doing. It's all going to be like this. I hope in the next tutorial is going to be about login authentication. We're going to create the backend for the REST API and make a different, it's going to be probably 1 or 2 hour long, because I'm going to have all the things required for login in the coming tutorial, and we're going to structure our project even further. So please stay tuned. And this was the structure. If you have any questions or any confusion, please let me know in the comments. And you please make sure to go through that article. It's also given in the description. I'll also give it up there. So please, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.